Lynn Santer, you've been the driving force really behind this meeting. You also have experience in Australia. What's your impression of the state of preparedness of the industry? What advice do you have for the steps that should be being taken now?
They are providing very worthwhile products for the public, but they are not providing them for love.
So what is it? Is it a problem of awareness? I mean, the industry surely knows that this is on the horizon.
I think they know something is on the horizon. I don't think they know what, and I don't think they know when. And I think before they begin to think about how they're going to plan operationally, they have to get their heads around what is going to happen and when it is going to happen. And I hope today has given them an idea of what and when, because I think we've collectively done a lot of research into what realistically could be models in this country.
This first-time author contacted a publisher when she was just 9 years old, and she was advised to try again when she was a little older. Now she is older and she's mixing it professionally with members of Parliament in England. She's just released this novel, Sins of Life. Please welcome Lynn Santer. Now, I've read the book. It's quite scary in a way.
Indeed.
Because you said you can't actually verify that it's based on fact. But
well, yeah, go on.
Because it is awful, isn't it,
yes,
if you think about it?
The true skeleton, the premise for the story, we can prove happened, not that it happened in the way in the book.
Now, did Jeffrey Archer actually help you in England? Because I think he's lovely.
So do I. It was here in Australia when I was originally writing the book. Jeffrey was visiting to market as The Crow Flies.
Yes.
I used some very unconventional methods to get to have a little bit of a chat with him.
Yep.
And yes, I had a long conversation. I suppose the least helpful thing was he told me he was rejected by 18 publishers, and I said, Jeffrey, I don't know 18 publishers. And he said, my dear, you will.
The Conversation Hour with Richard Fidler.
Hello, good morning to you. I'm Richard Fidler. Do you remember Albie Mangles? Albie, who blazed a trail through town halls all over Australia in the 80s with his spectacular wildlife documentaries, going into the wild with an extremely attractive woman often at his side, tussling with exotic beasts. Well, my first guest for you today is Lynn Santer, and Lynn has actually tussled with Albie Mangles himself. She's written the man's biography and is now his firm friend. Lynn Santer's also written, get this, the biography of Saddam Hussein's former pilot. And right now she's writing the story of her friend Tippi Hedren. You might remember her from the Alfred Hitchcock movie The Birds. You also need to know that Lynn is passionate about African wildlife, and she and Tippi Hedren have gone to some extraordinary lengths to stop big game hunters. Lynn Santer, what a life you've had. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for having me in the studio.
First of all, tell me how you met Albie Mangles.
Well, Albie and I first met when I was putting together World Wildlife Fund's 25 years anniversary celebrations in Australia at Dreamworld, where I have a long-standing relationship with their Tiger Trust. I was looking for celebrities to front the event. Albie was one of those I called. He told me he couldn't make it, but he'd have dinner with me next week anyway, and I thought, well, fat lot of good, that'll do. But I agreed to have dinner with him anyway, and during the course of that conversation, we discovered that he was interested in writing a book. I was a writer. And
she was a Hollywood superstar back in the 60s, perhaps most famous for her role in Hitchcock's film The Birds. But Tippi Hedren gave it all away to pursue her true passion, the care and preservation of wildlife.
Tippi is involved in similar conservation activities for all big cats and has been working with Australian author Lynn Santer in a quest to stop illegal and inhumane hunting practices around the world. Lynn has spent most of her life raising awareness to protect the great felines.
You tell a lot of people that shooting goes on by anything other than a camera and they're shot. A lot of people don't realise any hunting goes on anymore at all. And then when you take it even further and explain that this isn't just shooting, these are actually using barbaric methods and this ridiculous canned hunting as well.
This is a real powerhouse of a woman. When she is involved with something, she is extremely focused.
It definitely began when I was about 3 years old, watching my father's homemade David Attenborough-style documentaries in the attic cinema of our London home. I just became mesmerised by the dark continent and knew that I had to discover more, and it's become an all-consuming life passion since.
And what is it that drives you back there all the time?
The love of the animals and the purity of the environment. The very first time I was in Africa, I stood under a sky. You just don't know how many stars there are in heaven until you have seen the night sky from African soil. And I realised I'd been missing the point. It truly felt like my whole life had been a rehearsal for that moment in time, and I've been committed to the cause ever since.
Hello, I'm Tippi Hedren, and I have the wonderful honour to be able to read the first chapter of Auntie Lynn's The Magical Scarecrows in Book 1. The kookaburras cry.
Cat Party loves magical scarecrows.
A plot was brewing.
To roll out 30 books in the series with magical scarecrows popping up all over the world. The scarecrows you'll be reading about in today's Magical Scarecrow book are English and Australian.
Over the years, Lynn's been a real supporter of Tiger Island, a real supporter of tiger conservation, and we're very thankful for her efforts over the years, and we certainly appreciate it, and have a little bit of a present for Lynn.
Wow.
Which is actually, this is a pug mark from Rakan, who's actually my favorite tiger. So,
mine too.
Just to say a very sincere thank you. It's a certificate of appreciation, also with a little gold bear, which is our symbol for the Leukemia Foundation. So thank you so much, Lynn, and best of luck with these wonderful, wonderful stories.
Thank you so much. That's lovely.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's just such a thrill here to launch this absolutely brilliant idea by Lynn Santer to raise tremendous funds for the Variety Club of Australia, for the kids that we all help. I think most entertainers in this country work tirelessly for the Variety Club. It is a children's Variety Club now. Passing it over to the woman who instigated this whole thing. How about a nice round of applause for Auntie Lynn?
Thank you. Well, I'm going to be quick because we are all hungry and thirsty, but I just wanted to say a big thank you to everybody for coming here this evening, and especially to the gorgeous Barry Crocker, who escaped early from his rehearsals for Convicts this evening. And indeed, thank you to everybody all over the world who's become involved with this Stars for Hearts International Celebrity T-shirt relay. I never could have imagined when I first wrote these stories when I was just 9 years old where the magical scarecrows could have come to, and I have been overwhelmed how this T-shirt idea has inspired people all over the world and how quickly it's come together since the idea popped into my head literally walking around the supermarket one day, only a few weeks ago actually. And I'm humbled beyond belief and not more than a little excited to say that my philanthropic endeavours with the Magical Scarecrows project have recently been honoured with a nomination for the Pride of Australia medal. Yay! So that's very exciting. The catch cry of the Magical Scarecrows has always been, you should only ever be bound by your imagination, and your imagination should be boundless. And the way both the commercial and philanthropic side of this project is coming together, that certainly seems to be proving true.